Discovered my 60K wedding fund was taken from my sister's home, revealed the unexpected truth. Jenna sat at the family dining table, fork poised midair, her mind racing. The clink of silverware surrounded her, but it felt distant, muffled by a brewing storm in her chest. She had worked tirelessly, pouring every spare dime into her wedding fund, a dream she pictured so vividly it felt tangible. Now the illusion was crumbling. "Can you believe it, Jen? Lisa just bought a house." Her mother's cheerful voice cut through Jenna's reverie. Her heart dropped like a stone. Lisa, her free-spirited sister, had done it again. Wait, what? Jenna's voice shook. With what money? Tears stung her eyes as an unbearable mix of betrayal and confusion clouded her thoughts. Her mother beamed, pride shining through, blissfully unaware of Jenna's growing horror. "Mom, you know I was saving for my wedding." The air thickened with tension, like a storm brewing on the horizon. Lisa, in a brightly colored sundress, smirked. "You always said life's too short to plan everything, right?" That was her nature, spontaneity wrapped in bold colors. But at this moment, it felt like a betrayal, and Jenna's heart ached. All those weekends spent working extra shifts, all those dreams of a fairy tale wedding were unraveling. "Jenna, honey, it's about helping your sister build a future," her mother insisted, the hint of frustration rising as she sensed Jenna's spiraling emotions. A retired veteran, she had always held family first, a value Jenna cherished. Yet tonight, it felt like a knife twisting in her chest. Her sacrifice, the long hours, the missed gatherings, had it all been in vain? Jenna struggled with the weight of expectations, real love versus personal dreams swirling around her. "You think it's fair to just take from me without a second thought? I wanted that day, my day." The words slipped out more sharply than intended, and a hush fell over the table. A moment hung suspended, thick and heavy. "So you think it's selfish of us to help Lisa find stability?" her father countered, his brow furrowed with concern. The room buzzed with unspoken accusations, an electric current of unresolved issues crackling in the air. Jenna's heart raced. She couldn't understand how, after dedicating years to support her family, they could overlook her deepest desire. The discussion spiraled into chaotic debates about loyalty, sacrifice, and the unpredictability of life past economic constraints. Jenna's frustration broke free, and she launched into a whirlwind of her sister's past choices, poor decisions that led to debt, impulsive purchases, and the forgotten dreams she clung to. The kitchen atmosphere thickened further with each spoken word, hearts pounding, voices rising, until it felt like the walls themselves would shatter from their fight. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications. You don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Suddenly, her mother's eyes softened, revealing a hidden layer behind her decisions. "When I saw Lisa struggling, I remembered what it was like to be young and lost. I wanted to protect her." Realization washed over Jenna, illuminating the tangled roots of family ties draped over them all. The choices weren't born of favoritism. They were a mother's love in action. As Jenna scanned the table, her heart clenched. Could she shift her perspective and find understanding within this chaos? Was her love for her family strong enough to mend for shattered dreams? Silence hung in the air, heavy with unsaid words. Would she embrace empathy? Or would this suffocating moment rupture their bond indefinitely? The crossroads lay before her, uncertain and daunting, leaving a haunting question lingering in her mind. Jenna felt a whirlwind of emotions swirl inside her as she faced her family. The hurt and confusion tangled with a desperate need to be understood. As she pulled her gaze away from her mother, she caught a glimpse of the tension in Lisa's smile. It was a mask, and a part of Jenna wondered if Lisa felt as hollow as she did. "Mom, I get that you want to help Lisa, but why did it have to come at my expense?" The words hung in the air, almost begging for a response. Jenna could see her mother's resolve beginning to crack. You don't understand. This isn't just about money. We're family, and sometimes we have to make sacrifices for each other, her mother replied, voice trembling as she tried to maintain composure. Jenna's heart ached. Sacrifice? Wasn't she the one who had sacrificed everything? But I've sacrificed too, Mom. I'm not asking for much, just the chance to have my day. It felt like the air in the room had thickened, wrapping around her tightly. Lisa's eyes, usually filled with mischief, showed flickers of concern. Jenna, I never meant for this to hurt you, she said softly. The brightness of her sundress felt faded now, like the colors were washing away. Silence stretched on, unbearably heavy. Jenna's chest tightened at the sight of her sister's face. It was a reflection of her own pain. Then what do you mean? She pressed, craving clarity. Was this decision so easy for you? Anger bubbled within Lisa, sparking an edge in her voice. You think it was a piece of cake? I didn't know how to ask for help. I thought you would help me if you knew how bad things were. Suddenly, the cracks in Lisa's facade widened, revealing the girl behind the bold colors, scared, overwhelmed, struggling. Jenna felt her breath hitch. This wasn't just about her dream being torn apart. It was about the same feelings of inadequacy and fear they both shared. I thought you knew I was here for you, she said, her voice softer now, a bridge forming in the emotional chasm that had opened. I didn't want to burden you, Lisa confessed, tears threatening to spill. I saw your dreams and felt bad. Realization hit Jenna hard. Like a harsh wind, it blasted through her anger, clearing away the fog of resentment. Maybe this wasn't just about the wedding. This was about two sisters who had lost sight of each other in the chaos of life. Then let's stop making choices in isolation, Jenna started slowly, her heart beating harder with each word. I want to support you, but I need you to support me too. There's room for both of us. Their mother watched from the sidelines, her expression finally softening into a look of understanding. It's so easy to forget that we're all struggling in our own ways, she murmured. Jenna felt something shift, like the air in the room took a deep breath. They were family, and bonds could bend without breaking. Let's figure this out together, Jenna said. Her shoulders relaxed as hope flickered in her heart. It wouldn't be easy, but the path toward understanding was already beginning to reshape, and maybe there was a chance to weave both of their dreams into a new narrative. She thought of her wedding, of love and commitment, and for the first time, the image didn't feel like a solitary moment. Could they come together as sisters and rebuild what had been lost? As questions loomed, Jenna's heart raced again at the thought of the conversation still ahead. What if they spoke truths that had been locked away? What if they dared to be vulnerable? The weight was still there, heavy and uncertain, but it felt lighter somehow, less like a burden, and more like a shared journey waiting to unfold. And the thought that followed left her breathless. What would they discover together? Jenna shifted uncomfortably, her mind racing with possibilities. The room felt vastly different now, filled with an air of vulnerability. She could sense a mutual longing for connection building between her and Lisa, a fragile thread stretching to heal the rift. Okay, Jenna said, her tone steady but soft. Let's talk about this. Really talk. Lisa wiped her cheeks hastily, her fingers trembling. What do you want to know? She asked, vulnerability cracking through her bravado. Everything, Jenna replied gently. It's hard for me to understand how you got to this point. Tell me how you really feel. Lisa hesitated, as if summoning the courage to bare her soul. It's just everything has been crashing down, she finally admitted. I thought I could manage alone, but it's exhausting. I never wanted to drag you into my mess. And then, when I saw how excited you were about your wedding, I felt smaller. The confession hung huggedy in the air. Jenna felt a mix of empathy and sadness. Here was her sister, battling her own demons, and yet, in that struggle, Jenna had felt abandoned. I want you to know that your struggles don't diminish my joy. We can share this. I want to help you. But what am I doing to your dreams? Lisa's voice barely rose above a whisper. Each word felt like it carried the weight of their childhood memories. The laughter, the dreams, the secrets. Jenna took a deep breath. It's not your fault. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like we were both so caught up in our lives that we forgot we could, I don't know, lean on each other. I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to be you. We can be there for each other. With uncertain hands, Lisa scooted closer, her expression shifting from despair to cautious hope. You mean it? You really want to share? Of course, Jenna nodded. We're sisters. We're supposed to be each other's backbone. All at once, space felt lighter. A shared understanding shimmered between them, building a bridge where resentment once swirled. Their mother, who had remained quiet, stepped forward, her expression softened with relief. I think we can all learn something from this, she said, her voice steady. We've got to break the cycle of feeling we're alone in our struggles. We're a team. It's time to act like it. Lisa nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I guess I just wanted to prove I could face my struggles on my own. I get that, Jenna replied, giving her sister's hand a gentle squeeze. But you don't have to. We're stronger together. We always have been. There was a moment of quiet, a pause that felt filled with unspoken promises and renewed hope. Jenna's heart ached with the weight of all the unsaid things they could explore. Let's find a way to make both our dreams grow, she suggested, her voice firm. You deserve a home where you feel safe, and I deserve a day that reflects my love. When Lisa smiled, it lit up the room, a flicker of pure joy that had been absent for too long. What if we talk about how I can contribute to your wedding plans? Maybe we can combine some ideas. Jenna's heart leaped. That would be incredible. I want you to feel involved. I want us both to feel special. But just as laughter began to bubble between them, Jenna remembered the cost, the money, the sacrifices yet to be made. What if their family couldn't afford both paths? The doubt gripped her tightly, like a vice. She clamored for clarity, yet realized they had only just begun. As their mother sat down at the table, a gentle smile softening the edges of her worried frown, Jenna could feel the questions beginning to swirl again. Could they really balance both their dreams as they ventured forward? What if this path of unity opened doors they never imagined possible? And the sharp thought struck her again, leaving her breathless. What if they had to fight for both futures? And how far would they go to protect each other's dreams? Jenna's mind buzzed with possibilities, the weight of her earlier laughter lingering like a melody. Something had shifted between her and Lisa, a fragile promise of trust woven through their words. Yet beneath that newfound connection lay a gnawing worry about their future. Let's brainstorm, Jenna suggested, trying to shake off the shadows of doubt. What do you envision for your home, Lisa? I want to hear it all. Lisa leaned back, surprise flickering in her eyes. Really? You want my input? Absolutely. Your dreams are just as important as mine. Let's create something beautiful together, Jenna replied, heart racing with excitement at the prospect of collaboration, even if uncertainty still tangled in her chest. Lisa took a breath, her brow furrowing with thought. I've always wanted a cozy little garden outside, flowers, maybe a bench where I can read, a space that feels like a retreat. A smile spread across Jenna's face. That sounds wonderful. We could even incorporate some of that into your wedding decorations. Imagine wildflowers at your home, then at the ceremony, too. The flicker of inspiration sparked Lisa's eyes, and she began to unfold her ideas, her passion coloring her voice. Yet, even as they dreamed, Jenna was still haunted by the question of financing. Their mother, watching the conversation unfold, nodded in agreement. You two have something special here. This is what family is about, building dreams together. But as warmth filled the room, the dread inside Jenna countered it. How would they manage the costs? The reality of weddings and homes didn't come cheap. Should she come clean about the wedding fund? Taking solace in Lisa's enthusiasm, Jenna pushed the worry aside for the moment. They sketched plans and flipped through design magazines, laughter punctuating the air as they shared stories of their childhood dreams, now entwined with the possibilities ahead. As the evening wore on and ideas flowed, a knock echoed from the front door, pulling them from their blissful bubble. Their mother got up, her curiosity piqued. Who could that be? Jenna wondered aloud, trying to suppress a growing sense of foreboding. Moments later, their mother returned, her face pale. Behind her stood a stranger, slender, with dark hair and a determined expression. Jenna's stomach twisted at the sight. "I'm sorry to interrupt," the stranger said, an uneven tone breaking through the silence. "I need to talk to Lisa." Lisa's brow furrowed, confusion etched deep as she exchanged nervous glances with Jenna. "Who are you?" I'm from the housing authority," the woman replied, glancing between them, clearly hesitant. "We have serious matters to discuss regarding your application." Lisa's posture stiffened, the brightness in her eyes flickering out, replaced by fear. "What do you mean?" Jenna's heart raced, intuition screaming that this couldn't be good. The weight of the day felt suddenly heavy, dread crawling over her skin. Had she unknowingly stepped into a storm? "Please, sit down. It's important," the woman urged flatly. "There are things about your situation that we need to clarify." The air thickened, silence enveloping them as Jenna and Lisa exchanged panicked expressions. What could possibly go wrong now? And for a brief moment, Jenna's gut twisted with the thought, what if the timeline of their dreams began to unravel right before their eyes? In that moment of silence, Jenna's gaze sharpened on the woman's face, searching for clues. A warning? An opportunity? She felt on the precipice of something momentous. Could their harmony withstand the storm, or was it about to be shattered again? Jenna's heart hammered in her chest. The woman's uncertain stance only added to the tension hanging thick in the air. Lisa shifted uncomfortably, her hands clenching in her lap. Jenna wanted to rush to her sister's side, to protect her from whatever unsettling news was about to spill. "Just tell us what's going on," Lisa said, her voice steadier than Jenna felt. "What about our application?" The woman cleared her throat, glancing nervously at their mother, who stood frozen behind the couch. "It's important that you both understand. The funding for your housing application is in jeopardy." Jenna's stomach dropped. "What do you mean? We've been doing everything right." Lisa exchanged a horrified look with Jenna. The plans they had laid out were fragile, like paper-thin dreams fluttering in a gust of wind. "There are inconsistencies in your financial disclosures," the woman continued, her voice barely above a whisper. "Your applications don't match the details provided to us. We'll need to investigate further." "Investigate?" Lisa's voice cracked under the weight of disbelief. "You're saying we might not even get the house? No, this can't be happening." Jenna felt a knot tightening in her throat. Anxiety surged through her veins. She thought they had everything organized. She had hidden the wedding fund, believing it was a temporary safety net for Lisa's future. But was it possible that remaining silent was a mistake? Could it be a mistake? Jenna asked, pushing past the lump in her throat. "We followed every guideline. Is there any way we can clear this up?" The woman shook her head. Her serious demeanor remained unchanged. "You'll have the opportunity to explain during the hearings, but I must warn you, any misrepresentation, even minor, could have serious consequences." Lisa paled, and Jenna felt a rush of empathy for her sister. In an instant, all their plans, decorations, flowers, the cozy garden, felt like a fragile illusion, ready to shatter. "What do we do now?" Lisa whispered, as if afraid to voice the fear echoing in them both. Jenna took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "We fight this. We can gather proof and be transparent. We can't let this be the end of our dreams." The determination in her voice surprised even her. But the pit in her stomach remained, a heavy reminder of the uncertain road ahead. The weight of their mother's worried gaze only compounded the seriousness of the moment. As the stranger turned to leave, Jenna stepped forward. "Please, don't go. We need your help. If there's been a mistake, we can fix it, right? The woman paused, studying Jenna's face before responding. I can guide you on what to do next, but ultimately, it's up to you to prove your case. She handed Jenna a card with her contact details. Be prepared. The hearings won't be kind, and you must be ready for difficult questions. After the woman left, Jenna looked at Lisa. We can do this. We have to stay united. You're not alone in this. None of us are. Lisa nodded, but Jenna could see doubt still lingering in her sister's eyes. Their mother moved closer, placing a reassuring hand on Lisa's shoulder. The connection they had forged today now seemed like a flickering candle in a gusty storm. What if this is unraveling our dreams, Jenna? Lisa asked, her voice trembling. We can't think that way, Jenna insisted, determination flooding her. We just have to find a way through this. Besides, we've got a chance, and I'm not giving up that easily. As they stood together, hearts beating in sync with anxious hope, Jenna could sense a battle on the horizon. What secrets lay hidden in the paperwork? Would their love and determination be enough to conquer the obstacles ahead? Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that more revelations awaited them, potentially altering the very fabric of their lives. How far were they willing to go to save their dreams? Jenna paced the small living room, her mind racing. She could see the sunlight creeping through the curtains, illuminating the dust swirling in the air. Her heartbeat matched the rhythm of her restless steps, each one punctuated by worry. Lisa sat on the couch, her shoulders slumped, staring at the floor, as if it held all the answers. Jenna, do you think we're really going to lose the house? She whispered, her voice barely above a breath. We don't know that yet, Jenna replied, forcing a confidence she didn't fully feel. We'll gather everything we need, and we'll explain it all. We didn't do anything wrong. Their mother finally broke the silence. Maybe we should start organizing our documents, show them what they need to see. I can help with that. Her mother's voice held a calmness that was needed, even if it didn't fully dispel the storm roaring inside Jenna's chest. The warmth of her mother's presence offered some relief, so Jenna nodded appreciatively. Let's do that, she said, taking a deep breath. Every last detail can help. We just have to make a strong case. Lisa nodded, but something in her gaze suggested she was lost in a different worry. What if they find out about the wedding fund? The mention of it sent a jolt of panic. She had kept it separate, thinking it was a precaution for Lisa's future. What had seemed like a sensible decision now felt like a fragile thread that could unravel everything. Maybe we should just be open about it, she said tentatively. Explain why it's there. It was never meant to be a secret. Lisa sighed, frustration mingling with dread. I trusted you, Jenna. I thought we were on the same page. What if they see that money and think we're hiding something? What if it makes everything worse? Jenna's heart sank. That's not how it happened. I just want to protect you. You didn't protect me. You put us at risk, Lisa shot back, her voice rising. Jenna clenched her fists, fighting back tears. The fear of losing everything pushed them into a corner, and now even their relationship felt strained. I'm sorry, Jenna said softly, her anger dissipating into regret. I thought this would be okay. I didn't mean to hurt you. Their mother moved in between them, a mediator in their war. We must focus, girls. We can't let disagreements pull us apart. We're stronger together, and that's how we'll get through this. Her words hung in the air, a reminder of their unity. Jenna took a deep breath, urging herself to think positively. After a moment, Lisa spoke again, her voice trembling but resolute. Okay, let's get the documents together. I'll call Dad for the financial records. We'll figure this out as a family. With that, a glimmer of hope for their situation began to resurface. With renewed determination, Jenna gathered her laptop, and they all started making lists, printing papers, and calling contacts. As the hours ticked by, time turned into a blur of frantic efforts. With each piece of evidence they collected, Jenna felt a little more assured. But they still hadn't confronted the weighty secret of the wedding fund, or how to explain it. Night fell, and the living room was illuminated by the soft glow of a lamp. The three of them gathered around the dining table, a fortress against the looming uncertainties outside. "What if they don't believe us?" Lisa whispered again, vulnerability flooding into her voice. Jenna gripped her sister's hand tightly. "Then we'll show them we have nothing to hide. We have each other, and that's something they can't take away." Suddenly, Jenna's phone buzzed with a notification. The message sent a wave of dread to her stomach. There was a headline that caught her eye. "Shocking truth about housing applications revealed." Jenna's heart raced. What if their case was part of something bigger? Before she could say anything, Lisa leaned in closer, squinting at the screen. "Jenna, what is it?" Jenna stared at the article, suddenly feeling that the depths of their troubles went beyond the paperwork they had gathered. What had she uncovered? And what would it mean for their fight ahead? Jenna's fingers trembled as she swiped to read the article. Her heart slammed in her chest, each beat echoing the anxiety that had built up over the long day. "They're saying home loans are getting denied because of discrepancies in applications, but there's something more," Jenna muttered, her focus narrowing on the screen. Lisa leaned in, her brows furrowing. "What do you mean?" With a shaky breath, Jenna frowned at the ominous message. The article spoke of a potential scandal, hinting that several families across the city were facing sudden foreclosures, all tied to a missing document scandal orchestrated by a local bank. It felt like the ground was shifting beneath their feet. "So, what does this mean for us?" Lisa asked, her voice a mix of fear and curiosity, glancing from the phone to their mother, who now stood behind Jenna, her expression clouded with concern. "It could mean they're looking for scapegoats, or worse, there's a chance no one's actually in trouble. Nobody's safe if the big banks are lying," Jenna replied, her voice shaky yet determined. "If we went into this knowing that." Their mother rested a hand on Jenna's shoulder, grounding her. "We need to stay focused on our situation, Jenna. Let's worry about the facts at hand first." "But what if this is linked?" Jenna pressed, pointing at the screen, where readers shared their stories in the comments, many echoing sentiments of despair, confusion, and an overwhelming sense of betrayal. If there's a larger scheme at play, they could be targeting families who are already struggling, like us. "I don't want to lose our home," Lisa said, anxiety creeping back into her tone. "And I don't want this wedding fund to be the reason we do." Jenna turned to face her sister fully, her heart twisting at the thought of everything that lay ahead. "We have to decide how we handle the wedding fund. If they find it without us mentioning it first, it might look worse than if we explain it." Lisa bit her lip, uncertainty dancing in her eyes. "You're right, but how do I explain it? To them? To myself? It feels like I was bathwater turned cold when it was meant to be warm." Taking a deep breath, Jenna rolled her shoulders back, feeling a sudden shift in her resolve. "We'll get through this together, Lisa, I promise." Their mother cleared her throat quietly, drawing their attention back. "Girls, remember when we faced that storm last winter? We were scared, but it was our unity that kept us safe. We'll figure it out." The three of them worked late into the night, piecing together their argument as well as the connection to that scathing article. The tense atmosphere slowly transformed into an earnest collaboration, fueled by shared hope. Piece by piece, their bond seemed to tighten, creating a sturdy barrier against looming shadows. But as Jenna organized the documents for the morning meeting, she couldn't shake the anxiety coursing through her. She felt as if a storm was brewing, ominous and powerful. What if they encountered more obstacles than they imagined? With a heavy heart, Jenna glanced back at her phone, tempted to read more. There, nestled between the barrage of comments, was a statement from someone who claimed to have insider information about the bank's practices. It was a cryptic sentence, but it read, "If you know the truth, hold on to it tight. It's the key." She felt herself drawn to that message, needing to understand more about what they were up against. "What truth are they talking about?" Jenna whispered, glancing at her sister and mother, each wearing expressions that mirrored her growing dread. Tomorrow would come fast, and with it, it would bring more than just documentation. It would unveil the heart of the storm. What secrets lay buried, and would they uncover the truth before it was too late? The sun peeked through the curtains, casting a soft golden glow across the living room. Jenna's eyes fluttered open, brain foggy yet filled with anxiety about the upcoming meeting. She could barely remember sleeping, and flashes of worried gasps from last night echoed in her mind. Lisa sat quietly at the table, fiddling with a strand of hair, her face pale. Their mother was already at the counter, pouring steaming coffee. But silence felt like a weight upon them, heavier with each lingering moment. "Good morning, girls," their mother said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "How about some breakfast before we dive into this?" Jenna rubbed her temples but nodded, feeling that a little fuel could do wonders for her frazzled nerves. They sat together at the table, the aroma of coffee mingling with a light breakfast, but every bite felt hard to swallow. "Have you thought about what you're going to say?" Lisa finally broke through the tension. "We tell them everything. We have to. Hiding the wedding fund could paint us in a corner," Jenna replied, her mind racing. "And if we don't, they might think we've been dishonest." Lisa nodded slowly, her eyes narrowing as if she were processing a puzzle only partially complete. "Yeah, but what if they react differently? What if they don't understand? That could make it worse." "All the more reason for honesty," Jenna pressed, breathing deeply to calm her racing heart. The stakes were too high. They had to keep their home and also preserve their family bond. Despite the heaviness, she felt a flicker of strength within her. They were stronger together. As they cleared their plates and prepared to leave, Jenna felt the universe shift. Something about today felt monumental, like the whole world was holding its breath. Walking out the door, she noticed a gray cloud gathering in the sky, mirroring the knot of dread in her stomach. Arriving at the bank, Jenna's palms were clammy against her folder. They were met by a stern-looking woman at the front desk, who looked them over with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "You're here for the meeting regarding your account?" "Yes, Jenna and Lisa Collins," Jenna replied, her voice firm yet shaking. "We need to discuss some discrepancies." The woman led them into a small conference room, where two representatives awaited them. One had a pleasant smile, while the other furrowed his brow, exuding a sense of authority and urgency. Jenna swallowed hard as she took a seat opposite them, Lisa clutching her sister's hand. "Thank you for coming in today," the woman said, referencing a series of papers in front of her. "We've received your request, and we understand you believe there's a link to the bank's operations pertaining to your account. Is that correct?" Jenna met Lisa's eyes, nodding resolutely. "Yes, we've seen claims, issues that could impact our standing." The man leaned forward, his gaze piercing. "We take these matters very seriously. We need transparency from you to address any inconsistencies. Can you provide details about your wedding fund?" The air thickened, and Jenna felt like she was suspended in time. There it was, the moment of truth. We have savings set aside that we're afraid could interfere with how you might view our situation. If we mention it, we might appear dishonest." The representatives exchanged knowing glances, and Jenna felt her heart race. Were they going to be understanding, or was she about to plunge into deeper waters? The woman softened slightly. "We just need you to be upfront. If you're hiding something that could affect your loan—" "I'm not hiding anything. I didn't want it to look bad," Jenna blurted, her pulse pounding in her ears. Suddenly, the door swung open. A third figure entered, an older man with a furrowed brow. He paused, his gaze sweeping the room before locking onto Jenna. "What's going on here?" Jenna's breath caught in her throat, recognition hitting her like a wave. "You," she stammered, realizing he was part of the bank's internal team mentioned in the article. That feeling of dread suddenly morphed into a tidal wave of uncertainty. "Yes, me," he said, and Jenna knew the pieces of their puzzle might just be about to snap together. "We need to talk. What secrets did he carry, and could they be enough to save their home?" Jenna's heart raced as she stared at the man, her mouth suddenly dry. The words hung in the air, thick with unspoken possibility. "Please," Jenna said softly, "who are you?" Her voice trembled, but defiance flickered in her eyes. The man stepped forward, his posture unyielding, as if he were bracing against a storm. "I'm Frank Thompson. I work for the bank's compliance department," he replied. "We've been alerted to some irregularities in your account, particularly concerning unusual withdrawals and deposits tied to your wedding fund." "Regularities?" Jenna echoed, her stomach twisting. She felt as if she were teetering at the edge of a high cliff, the ground far below. "Your account has raised some flags," Frank continued, taking a seat, "and we need to clarify just what." "That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here." Lisa squeezed Jenna's hand tighter, her face pale. "We've been saving for the wedding, but we didn't want to mix that with everything else." "What else?" Frank's gaze pierced through them. Jenna inhaled sharply, feeling a rush of heat rise to her cheeks. "There's a lot we haven't shared. We're in danger of losing our home." Suddenly, the weight of the truth pressed down on her. She had to own it, to lay bare the mess they'd made in trying to maintain control. "Last year, we faced some financial difficulties. We had to dip into our wedding fund to keep up with the mortgage payments." Frank's brow furrowed deeper. "And why was this not disclosed prior to this meeting?" "Because we thought if we didn't mention it, we could protect ourselves," Jenna admitted, her voice shaking now. "But it feels like we've only dug ourselves deeper." "So you were hiding it? You assumed you'd be considered dishonest if you said anything?" Frank raised an eyebrow, his voice edged with skepticism. "Yes," Jenna blurted, feeling tears prick the corners of her eyes as she desperately clung to Lisa's hand. "It's complicated. We just didn't want to look irresponsible." The silence that followed was deafening. Frank looked from Jenna to Lisa, searching their faces, weighing their honesty against the risks. "And I assume the wedding is still in the plans?" Jenna nodded, her pulse pounding. "We were trying to save, to make it special. But now," her words faltered, shame washing over her. Frank leaned back, considering. "It's common for people to commit to dreams while neglecting their current situation. But honesty could save you both. We can work with you if we have the full picture." Jenna nodded again, as the flicker of hope ignited within her. "We'll give you everything we have. Just please help us." Frank shifted forward again, his demeanor softening. "I'll need to look into your records completely. But if what you say is true, we might be able to find a solution for you and save your home." The air shifted, the tension easing, yet still heavy with uncertainty. Jenna exchanged a glance with Lisa, the hope glimmering in their eyes igniting a small flame of determination. "Thank you," Jenna whispered, the weight of relief washing over her. "We won't let you down." As Frank stood to gather information from his briefcase, a sudden thought struck Jenna. What happens if we're too far gone? What does it mean for us? Frank paused, the intensity in his gaze returning. "I can't guarantee anything, but being honest now is your best chance. If you keep the truth from the bank moving forward, it could cost you everything." Jenna swallowed hard, her heart heavy with the truth of his words. Would her honesty be enough? Could they stand together and face whatever came next? Jenna inhaled deeply, steadied by the thought of her sister beside her. "We're ready to face this." "Good," replied, his voice firm, "because the next steps will determine your future. What would those next steps hold? And would their honesty be able to guide them toward salvation or push them further into despair?" The atmosphere in the conference room buzzed with tentative hope, but tension still lingered, like a coiling serpent ready to strike. Jenna felt a mix of gratitude and anxiety as she sensed the power of truth beginning to weave through the threads of their life. They had taken the first step towards honesty, but the road ahead was still perilous. Frank flipped through the papers on his desk. "All right, let's go through everything you have. Transparency is going to be key here." With a sharp nod, Jenna laid out their records, loan documents, bank statements, and the heartbreaking evidence of her wedding fund being used to keep their home afloat. Each paper felt like a stone, heavy with her worries and regrets. As they moved through the documents, Jenna's determination grew. She held Lisa's hand tightly, squeezing it occasionally for comfort. Lisa's eyes flickered with fear, but underneath, Jenna could feel the spark of hope starting to reignite in her sister. They were fighting together now. When the last document was laid bare, Frank leaned back in his chair, studying them carefully. "This is a mess, but I believe honesty will play in your favor. We might be able to offer a restructuring of your loan. It'll buy you time to prove you can manage better moving forward." Jenna caught her breath. "You mean there's hope?" "Yes, but it's going to take commitment from both of you. No more hiding. Work together, keep each other accountable, and I believe you'll create a sustainable plan for the future." As Frank outlined next steps, Jenna felt a weight lift from her chest. This wasn't only about money. It was about rebuilding trust and unity within their family. Lisa's eyes sparkled with unshed tears, and a sincere, radiant smile broke across her face. When the formalities were over, Jenna stood with Frank while Lisa took a moment at the back of the room to collect her emotions. "Thank you, Frank. You don't know how much this means to us," Jenna said, her voice earnest. Frank nodded, his expression softening. "Just remember, the real work is ahead. You've taken the first step, but you need to follow through." When everything was finalized and Jenna joined Lisa, she took a moment to breathe in the victory of their small win. "We can do this, together," she whispered, looking into her sister's eyes. "I feel like we're finally breaking free," responded, a gleeful smile lighting her face even more. "This feels right." As they stepped out of the bank, the triumphant sun shone brightly, chasing away the gray clouds that had lingered for too long. The air buzzed with potential as they excitedly shared the news with their mother, who had been waiting anxiously in the car. "Mom," Jenna exclaimed, throwing open the door. "They're going to help us. We just have to work hard together." Her mother's beaming smile illuminated the entire vehicle. "I knew you two would find a way. You're a team." In that moment, something deep inside Jenna clicked. This was about more than just homes and weddings. This was about family, unity, and the endless possibilities that arose when they stood together. Days turned into weeks as they lived the plan Frank set for them, balancing work, family commitments, and wedding prep with new resolve. They laughed over shared meals and late-night strategy sessions, poring over plans for both the wedding and Lisa's dream house. Finally, Jenna felt a surge of excitement as the wedding day approached. The chaos of the past felt like a distant memory, replaced by the warmth and connection built between her and Lisa. As Jenna slipped into her wedding dress, she caught her sister's reflection, a radiant smile breaking through Lisa's lips. "Ready to take this leap together?" Lisa asked, her voice thick with emotion. "Absolutely," Jenna replied, her heart swelling. As the ceremony began and Jenna walked down the aisle, flanked by those she cherished most, her heart felt light and free. She glanced at Lisa, who stood beside her, her sister, her ally, and now a fellow dreamer. In that moment, they embraced a future filled with shared dreams, laughter, and the certainty that together they could overcome anything. As they celebrated the union of love, Jenna realized the lesson learned, that life will test them, but family and love are the ultimate anchors. And so, as the music played and the first dance began, Jenna and Lisa looked at each other, reflecting on transformation, growth, and the beauty of starting anew together. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. We want to hear your thoughts. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand how important it is to support the channel through these actions.